Hello, and welcome to another Geek Dhaba podcast. Today, on part 3 of our comedy series, we will be discussing sketches after our stand-up comedy tier list and why Dave Chappelle is the greatest of all time. Now, on the topic of sketches, Dave Chappelle is very, very well known for sketches. Unfortunately, because he had his own video, we are not going to put him in this one. We're gonna just forget that even happened. All right, moving on. So we're talking about sketches. Sketches, by definition, I guess, would be different from stand-up in the way that they are more like acted out rather than on the spot sort of. I mean, they're still rehearsed, both of them. Stand-up is rehearsed as well. But with this one, you have that element of production in it. Cameras, costumes, actors, the whole thing. We're going to be dealing with 3 main categories today. We're going to be talking about black actor sketches. We're going to be talking about white actor sketches. And then we're going to be talking mixed cast, where it's not just one person particularly running that show. It's a big mixed cast. All right. First off, we have the black category, where we have mentioned Dave Chappelle, but we are not going to mention him anymore. Our primary focus is going to be on Key and Peele. Junaid?
Yeah. Well, there are a couple of black comedy sketches if we don't take black as in racism and just categorizing it. So one of them would be Steve Harvey's show, which is The Family Feud. It's kind of a sketch because he kind of acts out in it.
Okay.
Other than that, I will mention one guy, which is Marlon Webb. His sketches are good. I don't know if you guys seen it or not.
No. Speaking of Steve Harvey, I think his comes more under game show. I mean, you're talking about the game show, right?
Yeah. I'm talking about the Family Feud game show.
Yeah, the game show. Yeah, so I don't know if we would particularly put that under sketch, but it is, and it is entertainment for us. What about Key and Peele? Have you? What is your?
I've not really seen a lot of Key and Peele. Just a few episodes, like the slow motion one. I will mention that.
That's a good one.
And there are a few other ones. I cannot remember it, but Marlon Webb has a lot of them. King Back, I will mention King Back because he spends a lot of time on making the black sketches. They are the funny ones. They are not very serious ones, but they are made out in such a way that it's comedy from start to end.
True. So, hey.
Yeah.
When it comes to black actor sketches, I would really have obviously you have forbidden me to mention him.
Not forbidden, but he got his own episode.
That is why I have him in the background. But anyhow, coming off, there's obviously Key and Peele is spectacular. Key and Peele having such great sketches as The Substitute Teacher. One thing that I will cover it in the later episode, keep that in mind. But about that particular sketch. But other than that, the Mexican standoff, there are so many others, when it comes to Key and Peele. And when it comes to sketch shows, Key and Peele is probably one of the most complete sketch shows. It was, there was nothing, even in Chappelle's show, there was sketches, stand-up, and musical performances. It was a mixture of 3 things. But when it comes to Key and Peele, that's purely sketch material from the start of the episode to the end. And that's what makes it one of the best out there. Obviously, there were shows like the Chris Rock show. There were, Marlon Wayne, as JD said. There were many shows back then. Eddie Murphy had
a show, yeah.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy had a show. So obviously, all of them had sketch shows, but Key and Peele and Chappelle Show obviously stand out as the pack as the successful ones,
Yes,
as the ones that even to this day, people watch it on a regular basis.
they do.
There's their videos are available always on Facebook, and even Comedy Central is sharing them again and again because they're gold.
They are.
They're gold mines. So I think they were one of the best ones. Mubarak, take away.
Okay, for me, what stands out most about Key and Peele is that, as Sohaib said, that there was a proper, it's complete sketch show. This ran for 5 seasons, I believe. And the first 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, were with a audience. They had an audience with them, and then they had the whole sketches on the screen sort of thing. But then the later seasons, they removed that element, cut down on costs and whatnot. But we find out at the end of the show that this was all one big sketch. If you have ever watched the end, you will know what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to ruin the details for you, but one big sketch, and it just blew my mind. I'm like, that is clever. What's great about these Black actor sketches is that they always have this racial commentary. There's always discussing something that is relevant. There's always something that makes you think, right? It's not just comedy just to make you laugh. It's comedy that makes you think. And as we mentioned in the Dave Chappelle videos, he makes us think. He makes us question. Yeah. So, and I'm not going to say that they're knockoff, but Key and Peele have definitely taken some inspiration from the Chappelle Show.
Well, fun fact, they were brought in to replace Chappelle when he, ran out of the show.
I mean, yeah. Anyways, moving on, we are going towards the white sketches. Now, one thing I'd like to mention before we start here is that the British are particularly good at sketches. We've had a lot of British run sketch shows that have been particularly noteworthy. We have the Laurie and Fry, I believe that's the name. And then we have
a bit of Laurie and Fry.
Yeah, and then we have the Mitchell and Webb. Is that the name?
That Mitchell and Webb.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have
Muppet Show.
Yeah, is that British?
I think so. It comes under British, I think.
I think they're American.
Which ones?
We're talking about Muppets.
Muppets might be American.
Muppets might be American.
Yeah, Jim Henson and
yeah.
But yeah, and then there was our favorite, Mr. Bean. Rowan Atkinson as himself, and I guess Mr. Bean. Would that consist of? Would you consider that a sketch, or is it more like show? I guess
it's more of a comedy show. Because, it follows the story and so on and so forth, episodic wise. But Atkinson has done a lot of sketches. He's done for other channels, and Atkinson, it's already hard enough to do sketches on the camera, but Atkinson has done it live.
Yeah,
and that's something to
that
really
JD,
tough stuff.
Your thoughts
Yeah,
on it?
I will mention one guy. It's not British, but he kind of, he's British, but he comes under British as well as white as well as brown.
All
So
right.
I don't know if he comes in the category of white or he comes in the category of brown, but he's British. Since we're talking about British sketches, so I'll mention Gus Khan right now.
Oh, he's definitely brown.
Yeah, he's definitely brown.
But he is in
UK
England. He's in UK, so that's
he's a national, so it means he's white also. So I'll talk about the sketch. It's basically a show which is Man Like Mobeen.
Isn't that show again? Just like Mr. Bean, isn't that scripted and you have...
It started out as a sketch, then it got
popular.
Moved into TV and then...
Yeah. Like, see, behind, so here we have Rowan Atkinson performing a live sketch. I hope we don't get flagged for copyright over here. There is this guy. This guy is a comedic genius. You have to admit him as Mr. Bean, and then him even as Johnny English, and the inspector from the Thin Blue Line. His name slips my mind right now. These are all fantastic performances by Rowan Atkinson. And yes, we have other white actor sketches out there. We've had the Jim Carrey show. Junaid, you particularly like that one. Give us something about that.
I mean, the basic thing about Jim Carrey shows is his impersonation of other people, and that covers like 70 to 80% of the shows. And whichever guy he becomes, he takes his accent, he takes his way he speaks, and even the facial expression. So that is from the start till the end, and that guy basically can run for like 2 or 3 hours without even having to think about what to say next. I mean, he has such big encyclopedia of sketches inside him. And I mean, today, if we see him, he's kind of wasted, and his talent is wasted, but I will still mention him as one of the greats, and I will still mention him in the same category as Rowan Atkinson.
Definitely, definitely. Yes.
True. Jim Carrey, obviously, we know he's one of the best comedic actors of all time. So there is no debate about it.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of his sketches, one that I remember, that I saw almost, I think, what I can say, I think 15 years ago, maybe, that was like Jim Carrey is a lifeguard. He was lifeguarding a small pool, indoor pool. And the guy that, he's trying to swim and he's trying to be the lifeguard for that. It's just, pure comedic stuff, that something is very missing these days. Atkinson and Jim Carrey were masters of that. Masters of portraying comedy through just their actions, not even using, a voice.
Props.
And when they used the voice, it made it even funnier.
I mean, we can talk about In Living Colors as well for Carrey, if we're talking about Carrey. His show of In Living Colors, which contains many sketches of his, multiple sketches of his. If someone wants to watch it, I mean, I will recommend this one.
Yep. Speaking of one thing
one thing that I want to mention about that, I put it on hold. Rowan Atkinson's sketch, if you've seen Dirty Names, where he's a professor and he's, taking attendance of the class. I don't know. I'm not going to say copy, but I love Substitute Teacher, but I sometimes feel like there's an inspiration taken from that.
Yeah. I can see like,
especially when D-Nice is talking, talking about D-Nice and all that. But overall, obviously, Key and Peele has so many amazing. I'm not just
5 seasons worth.
Yeah, just mentioning that there's an inspiration. Obviously, when you're making sketches, when you're doing comedy, you have to take inspiration from the greats. That's how it works, because they are the greats for a reason.
Yeah. One thing about Key and Peele, and this will lead into our next category, the mixed cast. They used to be part of Mad TV. Now, Mad TV, I believe, was one of the greatest mixed cast sketch production houses, I guess. I don't know if that's the proper title I'm using here, but they had such a diverse cast, and their sketches, I do not believe there is a single sketch that I have not enjoyed up to date. Along with mixed cast, like, because Mad TV went out of business, I'm going to say, all those years ago, they stopped making sketches. We've had a replacement with SNL, Saturday Night Live. And if I'm not mistaken, SNL is quite old as well. I am only familiar with their more modern stuff, with Pete Davidson.
SNL is very old. And to be honest, SNL started off, if if we were talking about SNL, like if you were making this video maybe 2 decades ago, we would have mentioned SNL in the white category. But over time, SNL really evolved and brought in all sorts of guests, all sorts of comedian, all sorts of what you can say perceptions to the comedy from all the races, and that's how we have the SNL that we have now.
JD?
Okay, so I will mention 2 or 3 shows which are, it's not really shows, it's like channels which do sketches and they have a diverse cast. I could have mentioned them in black sketches, but since it's a mixture of both white and black, so I will mention it here. One of them would be Smosh. Smosh has a lot of sketches and they have the talent to do it, and whatever topic you bring it to them, they will do it. And it's not like a branded deal or something that I'm saying this, but they really have the talent for it. One more channel is College Humor,
Oh,
which
okay.
is
Yes.
one of the best.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I will say that is perfection. Other than that, there is one more, which is Sushi Mango. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. It's like it's Latino American and Mexican type mixed into having sketches of what it will be like if you had a Latino dad, or what it would be like if you had a mom who is white or a dad who is white, and such scenarios. So I would mention these parts, and it's very good because it's not like we can say, okay, oh, this is just a white show, so only white people can watch it, or this is just a black show and only it's meant for the black people. It's diverse, and which is a good part. I mean, we can watch it both. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah. And when as far as we are mentioning channels, I would like to give a shout out to pitch meetings.
Okay.
I'm not in the mixed category, of course, but obviously in the white category, because they have really good sketches. Sure, exactly the same thing, but obviously it works. It's been working for a while now. They've been funny. If epic rap battles of history counts as sketch, I don't know. Maybe it's a sketch, maybe it's not. It's borderline, you can say, musical performance.
Okay.
Because it is comedy at the end of the day.
And it is filmed. So it's like, filmed. By definition, it could be sketch.
It could be sketch. So,
yeah, so
and
borderline sketch.
And with them they have a diverse cast, so they can be in the next category as well for epic rap battles. So, and they've been doing for a long while. They are on hiatus now. I'm really wishing they would come back, to be honest.
Well, this pandemic has affected everyone, so that's something that has happened. Yeah, but I think that's it for Mixcast, unless you guys have something else to add. And while we're talking about Mixcast, why don't we talk about our own like our Desi influence, Pakistani sketches? Do we have any Pakistani sketches, any Desi influences that we'd like to talk about?
I'll talk about Loose Talk.
Yes, obviously. Loose Talk is more of an interview show, but yes, it is sketchy in nature. Yes.
Plus, I think nowadays every TV show of Pakistan has sketches inside of them. Every talk has sketches. Yani, I can go on and on. Khabardar, Khabarnak, and this and that. Every comedy show has sketches inside. We cannot basically say, okay, this is the best or this is the best. It's a mixture of them.
Yeah, but one thing that one show that I really have to mention when we are talking about Desi influence in sketches, and that has to be 50-50. 50-50 was back in the day, probably even before my time. I just watched it now, once I learned about it. when I was, when I was old enough to watch it. And the sketches they had were hilarious. I remember, sketches like there's Bashira in Trouble.
Oh,
That's
yes.
the first Punjabi film dubbed in English concept. Then there is, when there was the World Cup was going to be, conducted in the West Indies. There was a sketch about, a person going through Rukhsati. Rukhsati is, basically the departing of the bride to the home of the husband in Pakistan. And he was, going with the dolly in which the bride sits. And when it was revealed what was inside the dolly, it was just bats, and he was just, going with it because he was sending the team to West Indies, for when the West Indies World Cup was there. So there's many sketches. They've made fun of the police. They've made fun. And even then that, being so great because it had social commentary in it as well. It was not just for the comedic value of it. They had comedic sketches as well, which had social commentary in it regarding, your police problems, your bureaucracy problems, political problems, and so on and so forth. So I would really love to, give a shout out to the cast of 50/50. Then after that, I don't know if you can really call stage dramas as sketches. Can we though? What do you guys think?
Like this is similar to Rowan Atkinson's live performances. I don't know if they actually filmed this stuff later, but
Bashira in Trouble behind me right now.
oh, and well, that's a borderline sketch, but I don't know if we would call it sketch because it's scripted, right, or is it improv? I am not too familiar with stage dramas.
It is scripted until unless there are heckles from the audience.
I'll mention two shows which
Yeah.
are, of course, which comes in the Desi influence and which are basically YouTube channels, but one is Teely. They have a lot of comedy sketches, and one is Bekar Films. You guys really have a thing for making sketches.
Even I think Ganji Swag has really upped his sketches game. Junaid Akram. Junaid Akram is really fine.
Not our Junaid Akram. This is
not me.
Not him. Very similar in looks.
Yeah.
Very similar in looks.
And same name, but slightly different.
Yeah. But his Ganj has swag more than our Junaid, so apparently, so yeah.
I still have beer though. These are purely gone.
So yeah, but his sketches game is very on point as well. So shout out to him as well. The YouTube sketches, YouTube channels that are bringing out the sketches in Pakistan, that's something very promising in our industry.
Yes.
Teely, especially, just as JD said, some of their sketches, the Desi American sketches that they had.
The secret one, I don't know. There are a lot of them.
Yeah, there are a lot of them.
Shout out to all these sketch makers, especially on YouTube and Vine and whatnot. These obviously they can't get it on the big screen, corporate deals and contracts and whatever happens over there, but they provide that level of entertainment for us on YouTube and other really accessible media, and that's a big shout out to them. We thank them for their contribution in the sketch community, the sketch world. Yeah.
And obviously there were other shows that I remember. There was the Foreman show. It was like early 2000s, I think. Back then it came on Aaj News, if I remember correctly. There was like 4 people who used to do a news network sort of thing, but with sketches in built in within.
I'm not familiar.
I remember a show. I remember a sketch, and I think all of you guys will love it. It's the Sharam P sketchbook.
No, I'm not
Which
not
one?
familiar.
Sharam Ki sketchbook. It's a channel. The cartoonish sketches which he makes.
No, I haven't seen that. I'm checking. I will
It's
check
a
it out.
definite watch list. It's very good.
Okay. I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out.
Anyways,
So,
I
yeah,
think this is it for us, unless we have anything else to add. We, had a fun time talking about sketches.
We're on a comedy grind right now.
Yeah, we
Very
are.
fun episode.
Yeah.
Too bad this is the last one.
yeah. But if you guys want to, want us to discuss something else, do let us know. Definitely.
Yes. Let us know.
Because comedy has so many more,
It's too wide.
there's improv in it that we really haven't covered, to be honest, because we couldn't really decide it. That was it in sketches, was it stand up? Because it's kind of a mix of both.
A mix of both.
If you can say, yeah. So there's a lot. If you want anything that you want us to discuss, let us know in the comments. Please subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
And because that helps a lot at the end of the day.
Yes.
And keep watching, keep supporting us. There is a news coming soon. Stay in touch for that with our Facebook channel.
Yep.
We'll reveal soon.
Yep. Anyways, thank you for watching, you all. And we hope you like this video we put on about sketches. Good night.